certainly the best.
Behind the glass doors of cold rooms and freezers lies a major source of protein for many households. Frozen chicken, turkey, and fish have become common food items in homes, restaurants, and food businesses across the country. From importation and storage to transportation and final sales, frozen food pass through a chain that is highly dependent on electricity, fuel, and efficient handling. Any disruption along the chain often reflects to the final price paid by consumers. On this edition of Market Survey, we examine the current prices of frozen chicken, turkey, and fish, the factors influencing their cost, and how traders are responding to the market conditions. Frozen chicken, turkey, and fish are largely sourced through importation and large-scale distribution, making their prices sensitive to several factors. Traders explain that costs related to import duties, foreign exchange, transportation, and storage play a significant role in determining market prices. Cold room operator says the cost of running generators has increased as frozen food require constant power supply to prevent spoilage. Fuel expenses, maintenance of cold storage facilities, and logistics all add to operational costs, which are often passed on to consumers. At the retail level, traders price frozen items based on size, weight, and type. Prices can also vary depending on supply levels and consumer demand. During the period of high demand, such as festive season, prices tend to rise, while lower demand often leads to slower sales. Consumers say frozen chicken, turkey, and fish remain important protein sources, but prices changes have affected buying habits. Many buyers now opt for smaller portion, cheaper alternative, or less frequent purchases in response to rising costs. Welcome to Market Survey. On this edition of Market Survey, we are currently in the market to get to know the current price of frozen chicken, frozen turkey, and frozen fish. So stick with us as we get to know the current price of these various items. I am Stephanie Notoriua. Chicken and turkey day for market now, the price is not come down.
Yes, it don't come down.
So how much until they sell kilo for chicken?
No, they sell on 6,000. Chicken wings they sell on 7,000. The turkey na 9,500.
How much until they sell on before?
Before turkey na 10,000, chicken na 7,650. But it don't drop now. Chicken wings they sell on 8,000 now, but now they sell on 7,000.
It's a it drop.
Don't they go like a month now?
So how much are they buying for cattle? Say that cattle until they carry.
They buy cattle 55 for chicken. The turkey now they buy at 90.
How much are they carrying
before now?
For the chicken?
For the turkey.
What of the chicken?
Chicken they buy at 65.
You come pass it.
Yes. I don't get bills to go come pass them. No, but say not guesses, but I guess this time around go come down. Now this they change this. The monetization, the money to the chicken to the drop.
Before they sell on 5,000.
So that's 6,000 at the last price now?
Yeah, this is last price.
So how much until they carry give this carton, this small carton?
This carton are 10 kg and then as it be so. Now 60,000. Some people will give you 62,000. So depending on how the price they come for them. Yeah, so that's what it be.
How much until they sell them before?
Before they sell 50,000.
So it don't increase now.
Yes, they increase.
So what about turkey? How much they sell kilo?
Kilo now for turkey now 9,000. Before now 8,750.
So that means it does still go up.
Yes.
How much they sell the carton?
The carton are 90 for now, 90,000.
We say no, they frozen. We say no block. And one we say it can't block. Like the price is the difference. If people want buy and they'll say this one no block.
At the same price. At the same, because if you sell at a lower price, now with that loss, a huge loss.
Chicken, frozen turkey, and frozen fish. To come with us as we get to know these prices, I am Stephanie Notorua. How much they sell Scooby fish now?
1 and 4,000. 4,000 naira. Before we dey sell 1,500, 1,000. But now it can't even worse pass. This must be at 4,000 naira. One carton at 198. 198,000. Then at 200 now.
How much did they carry am before?
Before, e never reach 120. 198 for one carton. Say we carry 150. 15,000. But now 95,000.
Get another type of Scooby and solo.
I know they said that one. Now let's Scooby and they say.
So but that one still there on the high side?
No, that one they cheap, but not the sweet. That one they cheap, but not the sweet. That make us not the seller. Till 150, we fit manage am. You buy one fish like this 4,000 take cook soup. Now wasting our time now. Because before a ton soup, it don't break. Before it not be like that.
Findings from our market survey show that the prices of frozen chicken, turkey, and fish remain closely tied to operational cost and supply conditions. Trader says expenses related to storage, fuel, and transportation continue to influence pricing decision. While they all acknowledge the importance of these food items in their daily meal, many say affordability remains a challenge. As a result, buying patterns have shifted, with households adjusting quantity and meals plans to manage expenses. For traders, the market remained competitive as the balance rising costs with the need to attract customers. Despite these challenges, frozen chicken, turkey, and fish continue to play a key role in household nutrition. As economic conditions evolve, monitoring the prices of frozen food provides insights into broader issues affecting food supplies and household spending. Traders report slow patronage, explaining that while goods are valuable, consumers are more cautious with spending. The balance between keeping frozen food affordable and covering operational costs remains a daily struggle for sellers. As market activity continues, the price of frozen chicken, turkey, and fish serve as a reflection of broader economic pressure affecting food supply and household budget. For now, traders continue to adjust to these realities, navigating a market shaped by rising costs and changing demand. Sellers explain that frozen product requires uninterrupted power supply to prevent spoilage. As a result, operators depend heavily on generators, making fuel cost a significant part of their daily expenses. These costs, combined with transportation and market levies, continue to influence the final price paid by consumers. Despite the availability of frozen chicken, turkey, and fish in the market, patronage remains slow. Traders say many customers now buy in smaller quantities or reduce how often they purchase frozen food as they try to manage limited household budgets. For traders, the situation has created a difficult balance. While they strive to keep prices within the reach of consumers, they must also cover operational costs to avoid losses. Some say profit margins have dropped, while others worry about sustaining their businesses if costs continue to rise. As the market adjusts, frozen chicken, turkey, and fish remain essential food items for many families. However, their prices continue to reflect broader economic pressure affecting food supply and consumption patterns. In the end, the frozen market tells a larger story, one of resilience, adaptation, and the everyday struggle to balance nutrition with affordability. As conditions evolve, both traders and consumers continue to navigate challenging market environment.
there's almost half of sold. And that is today's edition of Market Today. I am Stephanie Otoyiwa.
ITV, certainly the best.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of two local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
What does one do with a bunch of memories? Laugh about them, cry over them, or capture them? I know what I'll do with such memories. I'll showcase those memories. Yes, I will show them to the world. I will flaunt those memories. Showcase that marriage ceremony of yours. Burial ceremony? Yes, let the people know that you buried your person in a grand style. Thanksgiving, ordination, baby dedication, housewarming party, and lots more on your entertainment program, Memories, on Independent Television. Every Sunday, remember, for your event to be considered thick and classic, then it has to be on Memories. Memories.
ITV, certainly the best.
The threat of global warming is real. You have seen the destruction of lives and property as a result of incessant flooding. Make the environment a conducive place for all to live in. Stop polluting the environment. Protect the environment today. This message is brought to you courtesy Independent Television and Radio.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best.
The threat of global warming is real. You have seen the destruction of lives and property as a result of incessant flooding. Make the environment a conducive place for all to live in. Stop polluting the environment. Protect the environment today. This message is brought to you courtesy Independent Television and Radio.
ITV, certainly the best.
Alright, welcome to Youth Perspective on Independent Television. I am your host, Joy Obaisiagmo. And you know how we do it here. We look at societal matters actually from the youth's perspective. And today is no different. Today we are looking at the role of youth in the future of energy and electricity in Nigeria. Why are we having this conversation? You know, the recurrent happenings talking about electricity supply in Nigeria. And, you know, you've had experiences too. I have had experiences, and also a lot of us have had experiences. So it is time we do this conversation. We look at them actually from the youth perspective. How do we propose solutions to, how do we actually come in? What is the role of the youth in matters like this? Today I'll be doing this conversation with my guest here today. I have Blessing Egbon. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
She is an environmentalist. She is also the Public Relations Officer 2 of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter. I also have here Jolly Osahon. Thank you so much for
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, he is actually the coordinator of the Ego chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. So thank you very much for joining me today. So talking about electricity supply in Edo State, there has been constant complaints from consumers. We are also consumers too, right?
Yeah,
so I'm sure you've had experiences. And so Blessing, tell us, you know, how do you see the electricity supply, the distribution, how it is in your area? How do you see it generally?
It has been epileptic. So it's actually disheartening to think about that one of the most important resources that we as people in a community need, which is electricity, and controls a wide sector and range of activities that we engage in, is something that government cannot provide for us. Now, Nigerians have all come to the point where they begin to provide the things that government ought to be providing for them, for themselves. And in the process of doing that, government is not even making policies or reforms that aid this process. Now Nigerians provide water for themselves. Now we are having to provide electricity for ourselves too. However, the cost of purchasing solar panels and getting the inverters to run and power businesses have skyrocketed, because we would now vary to say it is the rise of economics. But however, it is painful. And a lot of the times I tell my friends that I do not want to engage in conversations that I cannot prefer solutions to, because this, for example, electricity, very important, necessary for both existence of businesses, of people's lives, because it powers both the mining sector, the educational sector. It's just a wide range, and it's become very, very painful.
Yeah, I know that if I ask you your own experience, Mr. Jolly, you're going to have a lot of things to say about that, because, you know, that's just a fact. We all have experiences one way or the other with the Benin Electricity Distribution Company in terms of, you know, electricity supply. So let's talk about the tariff structure. You know, they now have band A, band B to band E. So what would you say on that, Osahon?
Oh, wow. Can I say, for me, having all of this is not a bad idea. Let me take the bank for instance. The bank has big men or big investors, and yet they still have small customers. And they don't let those small customers go. But today, what we are having when it comes to BDC is something else. The painful part is, even being in band E is not even the problem, but you are not being served the way you should be served. That is the problem. So you're having to pay for services which you're not being rendered. Okay, so that alone is a challenge.
Okay, so you are saying that the amount of electricity distributed to band E or band the lower aspect of the tariff structure, actually, the amount of electricity being distributed to this set of people, it is not even enough.
It is not even equated to the amount being paid.
Whoa.
That's the challenge. where you have an area which is supposed to have an hour light, and even in 3 days, you're not seeing that 1 hour light.
So why do you think that is?
For me, I feel they've neglected what they need to do. There is need. It's not just a loan for the distribution. It cuts across both the supplies they have, because there's this low level of supply. So because of that, those that pay more tend to get the power more, forgetting that those who even pay little still need the power. They are all citizens of the same country, and we shouldn't be left behind.
Okay, there should not be any form of segregation.
Everybody
should be made to enjoy it. But if Band A is paying more, they should be getting more, right?
But Band A is getting 20 hours, while Band E is supposed to even get 1 or 2 hours. And even in the 2 hours, they are not seeing it.
Blessing, what would you say on that?
Well, I think generally the tariff plans, like somebody mentioned to me, said is a way to steal. I don't know how true that is. I think we would need to verify and see if that's true.
How do you mean it's a way to steal?
That's what the person said.
Like on the part
of the transmission company.
Okay.
So now,
well, they have stated categorically that it is a private business for them. So if that is how they've chosen to do their business, why would anyone say that is some kind of weight? So
because now they've said that a certain band will get an amount of electricity for a period of time. However, they do not provide that electricity for that period of time. So if you say 20 hours, do they actually provide 20 hours?
Accountability.
They don't. So at that point, it's a shortage to the people who are in that line. And I think that, however, I still feel like it is something that we need to really research on to know whether or not this is true, that statement. But then, if you say you get to pay X naira to receive 20 hours of light, and X naira is paid and 20 hours of light is not given, then we would have to ask you what's happening.
Well, if you have to ask that question, what's happening, I think it's already out there, like Mr. Osaon said. The problem now is the amount of electricity being generated and distributed to offered to these private companies like BEDC to actually buy. Is not even enough for them, so they have to now, at the end of the day, use it as a way of, they have to make their money back. So as youth now, Osaon, how do you think we can actually come in to ensure that, this is a very huge shortfall, and the demand on electricity is something that we linger on. So there should be a solution. And we can see all around that, a lot of persons are actually coming up, in terms of solar energy production and all of that. So let's actually talk deep into this. How do you think we can actually actualize this? Like in reality, let's make it work. Let's put a stop to this constant complaint. What would you say on that?
For me, I feel there is a way around it. Today we are having solar panel. Thank God Nigeria have enough sunlight. So that is to say, as youths, if we can come together as entrepreneurs, put our resources together, let's say 10, 20 of us, we can create a grid, a mini grid to supply a particular area. And we make money for ourselves as well. As an entrepreneur, seeing a problem, providing solution, and making money for yourself, that is what makes you an entrepreneur. So that is to say, if we as youth can come together, we can have a Nigeria that is having a light that shop don't need to close the night, because night is coming, because they will just have a constant and a consistent light. But we have to put resources together. And that is another way the government will also come in.
Okay, well, looking at the structure of the BEDC, of course, they have a management, and they also have investors, like, inner investors that probably is not in the public eye, or things like that. So that is already a way of Nigerians coming together, having to build a private entity, and then start distributing, and then they call themselves the Benin Electricity Distribution Company, right?
Can I come in like this?
Go ahead.
I have experienced Ikeja Electric, for instance.
Okay.
I've never seen BDC do such service. I've seen Ikeja Electric pull down wires in a particular area.
Can you actually prove that?
Yes, I can. I was in that same street. I've been in that environment. I was seeing them pulling down wires, replacing it with new ones. Why? When you tell people to pay for such services, they will pay. Now we're having electricity theft. Simply because when you're supposed to give us 20 hours, you're giving us 15 hours. And I see myself paying more for what I don't get. So what do? Not that we are encouraging it, but it's a society that we all belong to. We all know the system of the country. So that is why we are discouraging electricity theft. Yes.
Of
but
course,
the company themselves shouldn't promote it. In quotes, they shouldn't promote it. Why? Because if you tell me you're giving me 20 hours, let it be accountable. Accountability. People want to see you do things you say you want to do. Then they will build trust in you. And whatever you say, they will take you for your word.
Well, Blessing, do you think that with Osaon's analysis now, do you think that do you think there should be a way BDC should do better in terms of the sharing structure, the tariff structure, right?
Yeah.
Do you buy into the because I was just going through the street of internet, and then I saw some person say that BDC can actually do better by instead of having to make band A pay more and band C, D, E pay less, everybody could actually pay the same amount and then they distribute it equally. What do you think of that? Listen.
Okay, so we already have the metering, the prepaid and postpaid metering system. Now, if you provide electricity for people, give it equally. Who is able to afford it? We pay for it. If I want 20 hours of light, then I will pay for 20 hours of light. I'll purchase my card and pay for that and get 20 hours. When you say yes, I will get 20 hours. And then if I am unable to pay for 20 hours, I'll pay for 5 hours.
But that's the agitation right now. The metering system has already been implemented, right?
Yes.
People are made to buy as much as they can afford, but they still do not get this electricity. They don't get supply, So that's what do you say on that?
That's the reason we're saying that they should look internally and see what can be done. Because if the metering system is already there, then perhaps they also carry out some data analysis to be able to determine what area needs more lights at what time. Because we have the business districts, we have the living quarters. So the living quarters will need more lights during the evening hours when people close from the business districts and return home. And if in a case where you have lights being provided for the living quarters during the day and the business districts gets lights during the night, you see that there's going to be a lot of issues there. So determine what time each district needs lights and provide the lights for them. And then I do not know if it will be appropriate to say that the regulation, the transmission and the regulatory bodies should sit up and do what is right. Because now what we as the general populace know is the distribution companies. However, there are other actors, which are the transmitting companies, the regulatory companies, government policies. And those are things that all come together to either make or destroy the system. So we need to, as a people, as a government in this case, sit down and critically analyze the power situation of this country. It's time that we actually start up.
Obviously, they are not doing enough.
No, they are not.
So we're going to take a very short break, and then when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. All right, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Youth Perspective on Independent Television. And right here, we've been talking about the Benin Electricity Distribution Company. You know, how they've been supplying lights to the people of Edo State and how we, the youth, can, you know, see how we can provide solutions, because the tension is actually getting high by the day. And I've been doing this conversation with my guests here, so we're still pushing forward. Osaon, you were going to speak more on the mentoring aspect of it.
Okay, for the metering, I think there is more to do in that area with the BDC. I tell you the truth, if each and every house has a meter, when you supply, they should be able to have 20 hours, 10 hours, 5 hours, without you, the distribution company, having a fallout. How? If I recharge my meter for 1 hour, and at the end of the day, my 1 hour elapses, the light goes off. But doesn't mean you are responsible as the distribution company. I am responsible. If I am made to pay 20,000 and my 20,000 is worth it, I think I will pay. Look at it like this. I buy fuel for my generator to keep my lights on for 2 hours, and that may cost me like 10,000. And if I put the same 10,000 into the lights or the distribution company's lights, I can be able to have 5 hours, 6 hours. I think I should do that. I would prefer that than the fuel. So that alone will give them more money and give us more light, and everybody live at peace.
But if you say that, the problem systems, they don't really have enough to give. So where do they get, like, according to what, if you follow up how they've been going about it, they have been saying that BEDC cannot give what they don't have. So if they have more, they will definitely distribute more, because they've already created a structure, the tariff structure, okay, the band A and the others. So they understand that there are people that could pay lesser, there are people that could pay more, right? Because they have to make money.
Okay.
So moving forward like this energy and electricity shortage, I know you profiled the solution saying that people can come together and have to, you know, do this thing together. But let's be more realistic to solve this problem currently at hand. How do you think the youth can support this company, because they're already there?
Oh, well, for me, there are ways they can support. Since they don't have enough to supply, the youth can come up with something. I remember there is a community along Opa Ekenwa Road going to Iko. One time we did a documentary in that area. We find out that there is a way a guy lifted lights from the dam to his own house. And little did you know that some of the persons were tapping into that light, and they all begin to have light in their community. Then it becomes a kind of low. When the government get to find out, they said, we will do more. We will invest in this place. Finally, they didn't it. That's the problem. So now this youth has come together, bring an idea to supply themselves lights. The little you could do is make policies that will help them get a better light and supply even the entire area. And the government will no longer bother themselves having to tell the BDC to supply lights in that region. So the youth there came up with something. Now, like my colleague said, policies. When policies are in place, people can tend to put their money and they get the returns.
Yeah, this story you just give us brings us actually to monopoly. When you talk about the monopoly in the electricity market, Blessing, what would you say on that? You think there is actually monopoly, or you think, you know, the market is open, anybody can actually come in?
It depends on how transparent governments will be about the issue of lights. Now, governments at different levels have mentioned that there's actually no monopoly in light distribution.
Okay.
However, let's get to the point where someone wants to actually invest in it.
Exactly.
And then that's when you discover that there's actually gridlocks of monopolies.
Yeah, you got, like Osaon just said, he gave us a very vivid story on that. So let's speak into this. Let's actually hit the nail on the head. Let's talk to our government directly as youth. That's why we're here. You know, this monopoly thing, like you said, if you really dig deeper, if you get to that point where you really want to invest, you now start finding out that
there are a lot of things blocking the investment. So I tell you the truth, if there are youths today who want to put their resources together to get this supply, but the challenge is when it gets to that time, you see government telling you there are policies, there are rules, there are this, there are that, then you are trying to limit the youth from doing what they need to do. If there is an open hand operation, I tell you the truth, the light will become a thing of the past. You can actually have in Nigeria where you run for 24 hours without closing your shop, without needing to be afraid that when darkness comes, people will swap up on you and take your wares.
All right, final question before we go. This is like a wrap-up. The recent protest, BEDC must go, people were chanting, BEDC must go, actually. So, Blessing, do you think, looking at the situation of things right now, we've talked about monopoly, we've talked about how the youth can come in, we've talked about how they can actually put their tariff structure in place. Do you think with, what we're actually saying physically, do you think BEDC should actually go?
Well, it's a yes and a no question, actually, answer to this. Because Nigerians are frustrated. Edo citizens want better. So if the person who is there, acting as the head, that is the provider at this point, cannot meet up with this need, then you have to ask the person to go. Let someone else who will fit in, who will be able to provide the needed energy that people want, who can provide it. However, is that person readily available to fit into these shoes?
Would the problem be actually
solved? And if this is answered in the negative, then it means that the one we have right now needs to sit up and do better. Whatever that needs to be done should be done. Government needs to look into the policies, drive them, reform them. We've got smart people in this country. Let's sit down and do the work.
That is also what Osaon said before he got to you. The government has to do more in terms of, shaping our policy, making the market more accessible for especially us, the youth, to be able to see how we can, help and better the electricity situation in Edo State and also Nigeria at large. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of Youth Perspective. Do well to join us again next week. Same time, same station. I am your host, Joy Obaisiagun. Thanks for watching. Bye.
ITV, certainly the best.
some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Emobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
ITV, certainly the best.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as naids are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
ITV, certainly the best.
Good afternoon and welcome to another amazing edition of Itches and Voices, and happy Good Friday to all our listeners and viewers at home. My name is Mamedu Rebecca and I'm the host for Itches and Voices today. And Itches and Voices is brought to you by NAVVID, Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability, a non-governmental organization that advocates for persons with disabilities here in Edo State. And today we'll be starting a series on a very important conversation, a conversation that is affecting everybody currently in Nigeria, from those using public transport to people that have private cars, even artisans and those that have their personal business. It is the matter of the fuel hike in Nigeria currently. And to do justice to our hearing impaired community, we have Mrs. Cynthia Godwin-Aya, our sign language interpreter for today. And our guest is a very familiar face in the studio. It's Melody Omosan Esquire, the Executive Director of NAVVID. Welcome, sir, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, and happy Good Friday to you and listeners and viewers out there.
Thank you very much, sir. So we'll dive right into the conversation, but I'd like for us to start on a broader aspect. What would you say is how would you say is the current economic reality of Nigeria today?
Well, thank you very much. Like you said, we are looking at the hike in the fuel price, and directly that is affecting Nigerians in every sector. We agree with me that fuel is not just an energy thing, it's the engine of our economy, and it affects all sectors. And once there is a hike of that particular commodity, it has a way of triggering the hike in every other goods and services. There's always a ripple effect when there is a fuel hike. Maybe we want to also situate the conversation properly to note why the fuel hike. Recall at the beginning of this administration, on the first day of the 29th of May 2023, His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, pronounced then that subsidy is gone. And so there was an immediate response in the hike of fuel, and with its attendant consequences on the economy. But we have since stabilized from that shock. But what is happening presently, giving rise to the fuel increment, is the ongoing war in the Middle East. If you like, the three-state war, Iran, Israel, and the United States of America. And the Strait of Hormuz, which is an international sea route, which is within the nautical control, about 21 miles in Iran. The space, the wideness of that strait is just about 21 miles, and it is within the contiguous zone of Iran. Iran has effectively shut it down, saying that no international shipping will be allowed on that route because of the war, except with its clearance. It's reported that 20% of fuel, gas, and diesel do pass through that route, and that haven't been effectively closed. There is now a demand that is higher than the supply internationally. And even though Nigeria is an oil-producing country, because fuel and its prices, crude oil is traded internationally, the effect is also coming to us. So that's what is giving rise presently to the fuel hike. And of course, you agree with me that in some places, the cost of buying a liter of petrol, the motor spirit, PMS, petroleum motor spirit, has gone as much as 100% in some area. Fuel today ranges between 1,200 and 1,500, depending on your location in the country. And once there is a rise in the price of fuel, it affects every area of the economy.
Okay, and you made mention of the crisis in the Middle East being the main reason why the fuel hike is happening again currently after the fuel subsidy was removed in 2023 by our president.
Yes.
So how would you rate the experience right now? Do you think it should be happening now, or the effect we're having right now is coming way too sudden?
Well, Nigeria is not insulated from the international community. And so once there is a disruption of crude, the supply of crude, we are seeing the immediate effect. Howbeit, that ordinarily should not be. One, since we are an oil-producing country. And secondly, if only we have some control, we have strategic reserve, and we are able to respond to shock when disruptions like this occur. At NAVID in 2023-2024, between the month of November and 2023 and April 2024, we embarked on a research, the Resilient Net, empowering adaptivity and inclusivity for persons with disabilities in emergency, during that first cycle of the rise of fuel, to study the effect it had on persons with disabilities. It was discovered that it's 3 times more disadvantaged and disproportionately affects persons with disabilities. And at the end of that research, certain recommendations were made for which, if government had responded adequately, measures would have been put in place to at least cushion the effects, so that it does not immediately begin to have a toll Nigerians, and not to talk of persons with disabilities. Everyone seems to be vulnerable, but there are those who are more vulnerable, who are 3 times disadvantaged, more disadvantaged, and disproportionately affected by this hike in price. So to answer you straightly, it's now that we are not even importing refined product, because thank God, as at 2023, when we had the first removal of first, the Dangote refinery has not come on board upstream. But today, Dangote is able to meet our local needs and is even exporting refined products to other African countries. And I think that government should have been able to, on the general note, see that Nigerians are somewhat insulated. At least this may not last for too long. We are not asking for a return or reintroduction of subsidy, but this is what government should have been able to handle within the next 2-3 months, why this lasts, why this crisis, international crisis, happens, so that Nigerians are kind of protected. If Dangote still gets crude oil from the NNPC at the pre-war dollar rate, I'm sure government would have reached that understanding that, look, we are going to maintain the supply to you, whereas we will respond internationally to the demand of the international market. But as far as you are concerned and you are refining for the use of Nigerians, we will give you the pre-war rate, and so let not Nigerians suffer any increment. But that has not happened. It's affecting everyone, and like I said, persons with disabilities are worse hit by this.
So let's bring this back home more. So how will you say, or what will you say is the effect being faced by persons with disability that maybe an average Nigerian might not know about? So take us more into the effect, or what persons with disabilities are facing currently due to the fuel hike.
All right, thank you very much. Again, like I said, energy is fuel hike. It's not just an energy issue. It's a social, it affects every area of our life, economically, socially, and even medically. And we depend on fear. The reality is that we depend on fear daily. Sometimes we may not know it directly, but the truth of the matter, everything we do will depend on fear. Whether directly, if you want to have fear to run your business, to power your plants or generator, you buy fear at a higher cost, means that it's a higher cost of getting that goods or service out to the customers, and that will reduce their power to engage, power to purchase. If you talked about commuting from one place to the other, once the price of fare is hiked, transporters are bound to raise their fares. And for persons with disability, without the hike of fare, they spend much more than others without disabilities to commute from one place to another. I've often posited the reality that an employee with disability, for instance, would need, instead of following the general vehicle, for entering taxi or bus to get to his or her workplace, we normally rely on chartered vehicles because of his or her disabilities that will pick him or her from home and drop them off at their workplace at a higher cost. That cost now is going to go up. What about those who go around with an aid? So if it will cost you the hike to transport you and your aid at 3,000 per a short kilometer, and it's now doubled, whereas there is no correspondent increase in your revenue, it's already a toll, a burden. So you see that for persons with disabilities, that needs to transport themselves and their aid or rely on chartering of vehicles, the price is immediately hiked for them, and there is no safety net to cushion this effect. I'm not even sure that generally government has rolled out any palliatives, put in place any cushioning effect for Nigerians, not to talk of persons with disabilities. Those that run businesses is affecting them. Those that need to seek, so when you spend much in transportation, it means that it will also now affect the places that you go. You do not just go anywhere that you want to go. You pick where you want to go. Some people will even stop going for social events. The research we did that I mentioned 3 years ago, I was just looking at that before this program, and where it found out that because of the hike of price, about 60% of the respondents in that research said they no longer go out except to religious places of worship, and when they are invited and they are sure they are going to get a transport reimbursement. Others, 40% say they don't even go out at all. When there's little money because you have to spend so much on transportation, it compromises your health. You no longer so it's the effect is just all over. But I think that something needs to be done to ensure that there is some form of stability, and persons with disability, in spite of the hike, are able to function in the system.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. You made mention of the project that you did at NAB with ResilientNet, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So please, can you tell us more about that project, and was it very involved in FOI and the FOI hike as of that time? Can you tell us more about the project?
Well, it was a research to find out firsthand at the removal of subsidy then affected PWDs, persons with disabilities. There was a key informant interview where those who were in charge of providing services to persons with disabilities across ministry, department, and agencies of government were interviewed. There was also a focus group across the 3 senatorial districts of the state, going to Auchi, Ekpoman, and here in Benin City. About 60 households were also visited across the 3 senatorial districts to find out the impacts of this fuel subsidy removal. And I tell you that the findings were very staggering. And it was that bad that people with disabilities consider it very frustrating, critical, and some persons even were entertaining suicidal thoughts at that time, because businesses literally crumbled. Parents have to withdraw their children from school. People went as low as 1 meal a day, with parents keeping their meals for their children and all that. Parents who have children with disabilities withdrew them from school, saying that they do not have the resources to cater for their children without disabilities, not to talk of those with disabilities. So it was that bad. And it was part of the reason we very strongly pushed for a disability law and commission, that we begin to put protection policies in place for persons with disabilities. Once there is an emergency, this is something that has happened. We must be prepared. There must be shock absorber, if you like. Government must put in place things to respond to shock. Where is our strategic reserve? American can boast today that they have the highest oil reserve. Just yesterday, when Trump had addressed America, he was boasting that they do not even rely on oil from the Middle East. And so what is happening in the Strait of Hormuz does not directly affect Americans, because they have their reserve. What are we doing? Should anything that happens in the world immediately begin to boomerang on Nigerians and persons with disabilities, for that matter? I think that we can act differently and begin to know that eventualities like this are bound to happen. If this has lasted, this war has lasted up to a year, and we begin to see what is happening now, we will take it that, because it was prolonged, but not to have an answer because there was there's a crisis somewhere miles away from our shores, and we are already, because they are sneezing there, we are already catching cold here, and speaks of lack of planning and preparedness on the sides whose responsibilities are to look after the welfare of Nigerians.
Oh, thank you very much, sir, for that. So I would like to ask, do you think that the day-to-day decision of the government, do you think when they make this decision, they have persons with disabilities in mind, or you think they are being overlooked when it comes to the day-to-day decisions of the government?
Well, it's just what I'm speaking to. First of all, about the decision they make. This is an emergency, if you like. Let me say, because I'm not sure at the time the 2026 budget was prepared, government saw this coming. So this, no doubt, is an emergency. But I wouldn't know. I'm not aware of any program or plan government has specifically for persons with disabilities in response to this emergency. I think for now, Nigerians should have even have been seeing, it will not have been out of place for government to say this is what they are doing for Nigerians. This is how, even for workers that have to go to work every day, this is what they want to do for them. If even means taking a day or two off for them to reduce the number of days they come to work, for those who can work remotely and provide the means, engage them to work. It's not as if the work should not be done, but just to respond to what is happening. If that is not happening nationally, I'm not aware of what they are doing for persons with disabilities specifically. Yeah. At least I live in a community, and I'm not aware that the interest of people with disabilities is even being considered in situations like this.
Wow, it has been an amazing time in the studio, but we'll be going on a very short break, and when we come back, Melody Omosa Esquire will continue to tell us more on the topic. Welcome back from that very short break. We have Barrister Melody Omosa in the studio with us today, still talking on the issue of fuel hike in Nigeria and its current effect on persons with disability. So before we went on this break, we were talking about how there should be a shock absorber, in your words, in case of emergencies like this. Okay, sir, since we're already in the situation right now, you made mention of how probably we could reduce maybe the days that persons with disability come for work, for instance, as a way to control, since we already have the problem of the fuel hike, as a way to control it now. So are there more things you think you would want to suggest for the government to do to control the, since it's already here and it cannot be prevented, it's already here. So what do you think can be done to make the whole issue of the fuel hike less difficult for persons with disabilities?
Well, government must be ready to invest in persons with disabilities surviving the hike, ability to cope with the hike. That would be a strategic investment in a society that is resilient and diverse and that is inclusive minded, because we have people with disabilities that form part of the polity and the economy, and their contribution cannot be cannot be sidetracked, cannot be overlooked. And it is to that extent that government must roll out measures that would directly address the effects or impact of this hike as it relates to persons with disabilities. One of which would be a direct, like I've already mentioned, for those who are working, see how government can consider giving them optional days to come to work, or put in place ability to work remotely. Government also can consider giving some stipends in terms of rebates for fuel. If government wants to introduce to say, okay, why this last, government is going to subsidize, and this is not just for persons with disability who are working, but people who are also in businesses with disability. Once they have their record, this is what the much we will do to subsidize the impact of this fuel hike for persons with disabilities. And of course, for those who are not employed, who are not working, you must know and agree with me that the burden is even tripled on them, because ordinarily they would depend on people to assist them. Such persons that they depend on are already stressed by the economy. And so it will be important for such unemployed persons with disabilities to be empowered either with a skill that will help them to have their own work, or where they have the requisite qualification, government should ensure that they are employed. Something must be put in place that targets persons with disability, that will help them to be resilient, and that will help them to go through this shock that is happening. Government must mitigate the shock as it affects persons with disabilities.
Thank you very much, sir. It has been an exciting time in the studio today. And like the barrister mentioned earlier, it would be nice if the government meets persons with disability, even if it's halfway, if it's by reducing the days of the days they have to show up at work, or providing stipends to help contain the current fare hike and how it's affecting persons with disability. Like I said, it's been an exciting time in the studio today. I want to say thank you very much to those that are watching us at home and to our listeners that are following us at the radio. And happy Good Friday again. Thank you for joining us. And remember, spot the itch and be a voice. Till next week.
ITV, certainly the best.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of 2 local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
ITV, certainly the best.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
ITV, certainly the best.
Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church, CGCC, formerly known as the Lateran Assembly. Today, all across the world, there are rumblings. Nations are plagued by perplexing situations. Societies are drowning in unprecedented upheavals. Cities are grappling with complex problems. Families are overwhelmed by seemingly insurmountable challenges, while multitudes in the valley of decision and people are in dire need of hope. At the same time, there is a stirring in the hearts of those who know their God and are said to do exploits, those who understand the times and the seasons and know what their nation ought to do, those with a compelling call to respond to the mandate of God in this decade. Brothers and sisters, this decade is a decade like no other. It's a decade of the designated favor of God upon his people. To accurately position ourselves for this current move of God and to be adequately equipped for the call of the hour, we must shape the decade by the word of God, which is why I'm so glad to welcome you to the Moment of Truth, a life-transforming time in the presence of God and under the influence and power of the Holy Spirit, as well as the Word of God. So invite your family, neighbors, and friends as you sit back, relax, and receive the engrafted Word of God, which is able to save your soul. People of God, in today's preparatory service, the first thing I would like you to know is that a prayer closet is a secret place. Am I saying something you've not heard this morning? The prayer closet is a secret place, and there are do's and don'ts that govern the place. If you come into my house, my residence, depends on who you are. Some people, I meet them in the glass house. That's the outer court. There are 4 chairs there. We're a couple, you sit opposite me. And we talk. From there, we return to the gate. Do I love you less? No. But I don't know you. It's me, Pastor. I don't know you. We're in the same church. I don't know you. I've been a member of your church for 30 years now. I don't know you. So what do you mean you don't know me? Oh, were there not people who cast out devils in his name and did wonderful works in his name? He said, I never knew you. There is no relationship between you and I until the baby you carry leaps for joy when I speak, and vice versa. Two can work together except they agree. You're set in your ways and no one can change you. And you think you can access? Oh, no. You stay in the outer court there. You are members, whatever belongs to members will be done to you, but you and I will not stand in the place of prayer until I know we're on the same page. You know, they more or less forced the Lord to teach us to pray. And then when they asked him to teach them to pray, then they gave the condition, as John the Baptist taught his disciples. John the Baptist's assignment is to announce the kingdom of God is at hand. Jesus' assignment is the kingdom of God is here. And you want to pray as John the Baptist prayed. The season has changed. But prayer closet is a critical place, and there are do's and don'ts that govern the place. Please turn with me again. I told you I will come back to it. Matthew 6, 5 to 8. We have read it. Matthew 6, 5 to 8. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the corners of the streets. Am I boring you? That they may be seen by men. As surely I say to you, they have their reward. Prayers, number one, governing rule. Prayers offered so that you can be seen by men as one who knows how to pray is not a prayer closet prayer. Did that make sense to you? You know that you love to be called upon to pray. We're going to ask the Senate President to lead us in this special prayer. And the Senate President's head will swear. Let's bow down our heads in prayers. Do they understand what you're saying? He who prays in an unknown tongue is speaking mysteries to God. It's not for public show off. So I speak in tongues more than you all, but I will rather speak intelligible words that people can understand, or I become a barbarian to the one listening, and he will become a barbarian to me. That if you speak in tongues and cannot interpret it, shut up for now, and you can do so. First governing rule. Prayers offered so that you can be seen by men as one who knows how to pray is not a prayer closet prayer. It's a waste of time and of the energy dispensed while doing so. Number two, vain repetitions in the place of prayer is also an exercise in futility. Vain repetitions do not only relate to the words you keep on bringing out like a parrot. It also relates to the prayer you prayed last year, this year, year before, next year, that you're still praying now. You think by repeating them, God will now say, yes, he's wearing me out. No, it's not the unjust judge. Number three, from your prayer closet, only prayers directed to your Father who sees in secret and who himself dwells in the secret place will produce an answer in the open. From your prayer closet, only prayers directed to who? Your Father who sees in secret and who himself dwells in the secret place will receive answers in the open. I thank you, Father, because you have answered me. The disciples did not know he prayed. They said, let's go there and die. He said, Lazarus is dead. He said, they tried to stone you there. You are going there again. Let's not go there and raise him. They followed him. He goes, I thank you because you have heard me, and I thank you because you hear me always. Your prayer life must be sandwiched between you have heard me and you hear me always. Anything outside of that is not a prayer closet prayer. Your Father who sees in secret will reward you where? In the open. They didn't know he had prayed. Number four, do not spend too much time in your prayer closet on your knees. Because your prayer list is about I, me, mine, and myself. Do not spend too much time in your prayer closet on your knees. It's of no use to keep itemizing those needs to God, who knows the things you have need of, before you ask him. It's like calling him an infidel, letting him know that he does not know how to take care of his own. Consequent upon the foregoing, and in order to help you pray accurately all the time, let me furnish you now with more prayer essentials you need to add to the 10 you already have. I've given you 10. You remember? I'm giving you 10 prayer essentials. I took you through routine, through rituals, over the weeks and before coming here again today. Go back to them before you enter in with me on Sunday, because if you are without a proper garment, you'll be thrown out, not by me. And by the way, it's my prayer closet, not yours. You can't come into my house and begin to rearrange my furniture. That's why you stay in the glass house and from there go to the gate. Because if you get to the holy place, you say, wow, Pastor Bulletti, get out here. And that's just the holy place. There's still Holy of Holies. I remember I took 2 gentlemen into that private, very private living room and was seated there. And a senior advocate of Nigeria who had been in my house donkey times now came. And I said, it's okay, let him come in. He said, Baba, I said, because you're not Egba, you are from somewhere else. He's an Egba man. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? It's not that they're expensive furniture. Maybe you have better ones in your house. But you can't come to my house and rearrange them for me. And Pastor Mofeba, why reinvent the wheel? Why fix what is not broken? The 10th one that I gave you was ask and you shall receive. You remember? And I said, which class do you want to belong to? Those who are asking and asking and asking and asking, or before you ask, he will answer. While you are here speaking, he will hear. I'll give you 2 more prayer essentials, and we're going to take the remaining 2 from Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. When you call for prayers, people don't show up. But call for prosperity seminar, the hall will be packed full. And they don't know that the presence of God is what commands the miraculous, that the presence of God is the true wealth, and that you have to press in order to get into his presence for those things to happen. Matthew chapter 7, verse number 7, he reads and we quote, ready, read. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. If in the outer court it is asking, in the holy place, what would it be? It is seeking. I'm proceeding to the 2nd and 3rd today. God knows when I finish. I will not drag it more than necessary. And this will be essential, prayer essentials number 11 and 12. They'll be very useful to you inside our prayer closet. We are now at what? Seek and you shall find. Say that with me. So what happens if you have been seeking and not finding? Something is wrong. Who is something wrong with? I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. Which means you have been seeking and not finding. Okay. If you are seeking and not finding, it's very important for you to pause and understand that it matters to God what you seek when you pray. Say that with me. It matters to God what I seek when I pray. You're going to understand this is a very simple process. I'm not going to belabor the point or try to impress you with something, a new revelation. No. It matters to God what you seek when you pray. Because many of God's people engage in seeking God's hand, they don't seek his face. Dear friends, there's a big difference between the two. To seek God's face is to seek his person and his presence. That's why when they began that song today, I said they've preached my message completely. To seek his face is to seek his person and to seek his presence. Whereas to seek his hand is to seek God's power and blessings. What then is the secret of receiving from God? The secret for receiving from God, every time you seek and find God's face, you will find his hand of power and blessings as well. That's the secret for receiving and for finding when you seek. Many people are busy seeking his hand. You know, everything that is about you, that you bring to him, that he already knows about, that constitute all that you pray about, my rent, my children's school fees, my health, my this. Look, if you understand what I'm saying today, when you are sick, you are not going to seek healing, you seek the healer, and healing will flow as a result of that. That's why sometimes when you're praying, I listen and I switch on or off. A friend of mine, I will not mention his name, he lives in Abuja, very good. We become so close, like family. Every time he visited our place in Abuja, I said, pray for us before you go. We're just getting to know ourselves. And he will pray. I listen the first time, I listen the second time, I listen the third time. Then I switch on. I said, we can pray together now. He said, were you testing me all along? I said, yes, I was. Two cannot walk together except they agree. I know where you are at the moment you open your mouth. Are you seeking his face? Are you seeking his hand? I believe very firmly that it is for this distinction between seeking God's face and seeking his hand that God commanded or instructed Moses and Aaron in the way they should greet the children of Israel. I firmly believe that is because of the distinction between seeking his face and seeking his hand that God commanded the children of Moses and Aaron, said, I want you to greet the children of Israel in this manner. Numbers chapter 6, we'll begin from verse 22 and we'll read up to verse 27. You use it in like incantation when the priest is blessing you, but I want you to understand why this priestly blessing is worded this way. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to Aaron and his son, saying, this is the way you shall bless the children of Israel. Say to them, are you ready? Ready? Read. The Lord bless you and keep you. Stop there. Say it again. The Lord bless you and keep you. One more time. The Lord bless you and keep you. How will the Lord bless you and keep you? Next line. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Next line. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Go on. So they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I will bless them. How were they to bless the children of Israel? The Lord bless you and keep you. How will he do it? Next line. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Next line. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. I want you to look in the middle column of your Bible, or where you see the word lift, you see the annotation figure number 1. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you. Look in your Bible. If you bring the real Bible, there'll be figure 1 by the side of the word lift. There'll be figure 1. It takes you into the middle column and it says the Lord grants you favor. That's what it means to lift up his countenance. I told you the place of favor in answered prayers. You saw it in the life of David. You saw it in the life of Queen Esther. And I taught you how to obtain high esteem and favor in the sight of God and men. And if you see what follows that, is divine direction. All the time in all your ways. Give me Proverbs chapter 3. I'll repeat it again. Proverbs chapter number 3, verse 3 to 6. Am I wasting your time? Let not mercy and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck. That's how to obtain favor. But let not mercy and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. And so find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and man. I taught our little children many years ago, growing where it matters most. And the child grew in stature and had favor with God and with man. He grew in the spirit. He had favor with God and with man. Are you carrying favor with you everywhere you go? Are you highly esteemed? When that happens in your life, divine direction follows. Let's read. Continue. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. The moment you put your trust in God and you let him know you are totally dependent upon him, the moment you wear mercy like a badge and truth becomes your operational guide, your GPS in life, you obtain high esteem and favor before God and man, and then God begins to direct your path. Divine direction is the key. When it tells you what to do every inch of the way, every second of the day, you suddenly become a celebrity. You sneeze, they catch cold. You say any word, they rush at you. Paper upon paper, and then television upon television. And they will be discussing you everywhere. You, me, village boy. See what happened. Just minding my own business and doing my own thing. Brothers and sisters, the secret to the power and blessings of God is his manifest presence in the life of believers. I want you to write the following down and the tablets of your heart. Don't forget them. Number 1, it is the presence of God that commands the miraculous. You just start a rumor that Jesus is coming, Satan will panic. Because he knows and he knew what he did to him at Calvary. Do you understand? Just say, Jesus, he will panic. If you have relationship with him. If you don't, the sons of Sceva, a perfect example for you. Jesus, we know. Paul, we acknowledge. Who are you? Do you have authority to use his name? Do you have relationship with him? I will show you whether you are seeking his face or seeking his hand in a moment. Number 2, it is the presence of God in the lives of great leaders like Joseph and Moses that gave them the impact and the outstanding success they had. They didn't have any other secret. Do you understand me? It was the presence of God in their lives that gave them the success and the impact they had. Genesis chapter 39, verse 1 to 6. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. You know, they sold him. He was a slave. His brothers sold him. The Ishmaelites sold him. Captain Potiphar bought him. The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. Your environmental situation or circumstances cannot stop God from manifesting himself in your life, even if you're a slave. An amazing time we just had in the presence of God. I hope you are richly blessed. My heartfelt desire is that you may light up your word with the illumination you have just received. May the immeasurable grace of God empower you to act on what you've heard and to walk in the revealed counsel of God. Always remember that it takes a transformed life to transform a family, a society, or a nation. So let God do his work in you so that he can do his work through you. And as you proceed on this journey of destiny, remember that our ultimate destination is God. I pray that God's footprint will become your pathway and that your path will be as a shining light that shines brighter and brighter to a perfect day. Till we meet again next week, remain sandwiched between the peace of God and the God of peace. Have an amazing week.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
Well, everyone is a hero online until the chips are down, until you meet the person you're talking to one-on-one, face-to-face, when you can no longer hide behind the keypad. Well, is that who you are? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be discussing tonight on the Guys Hangout Show on Independent Television, reaching you live from the city of Benin. Now, for those that are just joining us for the first time, the Guys Hangout Show is a show that teaches men to put themselves first, to invest in themselves, to prioritize themselves, just so they will be able to live up to society's expectation. My name is Harry Aigboje, and of course, it's always a pleasure to have you join me on the Guys Hangout Show. And tonight isn't going to be an exception. Well, tonight we have a very, very interesting topic, something that has to do with hiding behind the keyboard or the keypad just to talk tough. We're talking cyberbullying. Well, I'm sure a lot of us out there are already familiar with bullying, okay? But what about cyberbullying? Now, that's exactly what we're going to be beaming our searchlight on tonight. And to do this with me is, my very good friend, the one and only Emmanuel Walter. Welcome on board, bro.
I'm really, anytime I'm here, I'm always happy.
Yes, I can imagine how excited it feels to be, seated there.
Yeah, on the hot seat, actually.
Absolutely, I know. I can imagine how hot it is, but that's basically what the Guys Hangout Show is about, right? We bring people, to occupy the hot seat just so they can, do us the honor of examining most of these topical issues with us. Now, we have a very interesting topic, Walter.
Okay.
Cyberbullying. First off, what's bullying to you?
Bullying. What's bullying? Bullying is oppression. You're oppressing someone you feel a weaker opponent. You feel because you are stronger than him or you are bigger than him, then you can just oppress him and take anything from him.
Okay.
With force, with the use of force.
So in a nutshell, bullying is oppression.
Yes.
Intimidation.
Yes.
Okay, so let's now take it beyond the physical, because I think your definition pretty much speaks to
the
physical form of it, right?
Yeah.
But let's take it beyond the physical now.
Okay.
Cyberbullying. What is it to you?
Now, it's almost just the same.
Okay.
It's still oppression. It's still intimidation. Only that now you are not doing it online. And not only are you doing it online, you are not doing it directly to the person.
With your full chest, like they say.
With your full chest, you understand? You are hiding behind the screen of your phone. In most cases, if you ever see that person face to face, if you don't have the power to challenge that person.
Or to say the same things that you're saying online.
Or to say the same thing you are saying to that person. You understand? You might ever be scared, you might ever be shivering. You understand? But because now you are hiding behind the screen of your phone, you feel you have all the power in the world.
Okay.
You get to talk to that person, to intimidate that person. That's cyberbullying.
Okay, so here's the next question I would love to ask. Why do some persons become so confident to, bully other persons online? What gives them that much courage?
First of all, like I said, because you are not meeting that person in physical. The heroes, you are the hero now. You are a hero behind your own phone screen, behind your own keyboard. You understand? So you are giving full. You feel like you are
immunity.
Yes, there's nothing, and I think there's always this anonymous of a thing now that they can't trace you safe. They can't trace you. They can't know who you are. So now being anonymous now, knowing that there's no way they are going to trace you, you just feel you can say, you can do.
Are you talking about people deliberately hiding their identity online?
Yes.
Like no profile whatsoever?
No profile whatsoever. Just for this cyberbullying. You understand? There's also cyber stalking.
Yeah, can you throw a little more light on that?
Cyber stalking now, you are just obsessed
with a person.
You understand? Some people actually, they don't take it lightly with cyber stalking. They don't actually take it lightly with cyber stalking. You understand? Because now you are following their pages back to back, always checking their new posts. You get every now and then you are always on their page. You are not doing any other thing on social media.
You're just following them.
Following them on their
monitoring
page.
Their activities.
Monitoring their activities. If they get a new shirt, if they get a new car, you are just following them. And now that is also affecting your own mentality, because you are feeling now, I'm better than him. Does he have two heads?
So the essence of doing that is to, compete with the person.
Yes, that's another reason why. Now, the cyberbullying. Now, let's merge cyberbullying and cyber stalking together. Now, in the process of stalking this person, you understand, you're seeing the person
as inferior,
getting cars, getting things that you can't afford. Now you are feeling, does he have two heads?
Okay.
Is he better than you? The next thing that will come to your mind now is how to tarnish his image, that person's image. You come online, you start seeing stuffs about that person. Start seeing stuffs about that person. You start harassing the person. The person does not know you from Adam. You don't know the person from Adam. You only know him through the social media. In most cases, I'm not sure, he might have not even come across your own page on social media. So now you are doing this now just to chase clouds, to attract attention. People should also notice. People are noticing that person now. They should also notice you, that you yourself, you are also here.
Okay.
You get?
Now, I want us to get more practical with this. I think there's also a category of people on social media that are called trolls.
Yeah.
Right? Who are trolls, and how do people troll other people?
These trolls of the people now, they are, let me use this example now. A person is a stan of an artist. You know what a stan means? It's a diehard fan. Of that artist. Now, another person just come online. Let me say 2 artists. They're arguing. They have their own minor issues between themselves. Yet the fans now, they are taking it extreme.
Personal.
They are taking it personal. You see the fans of this artist saying things about the other artist, bad words about the other artist, and the fan of that other artist, you cannot just sit and watch them insult your own artist. You must retaliate. Now the thing has left the artist and gone to the fans. Before you know, the fans start harassing each other online, start bullying each other online.
Okay, that's trolling.
That's trolling. Now they keep doing this. In most of the time, it's just for clout.
Okay, so does trolling also entail, deliberately saying hurtful words to someone on social media?
Yes.
Irrespective of their status?
Irrespective of their status, yes. That's also part of the trolling.
Okay, so if, for instance, I just wake up one morning and decide to, say some very disparaging things to anyone that I deem fit, that's trolling, isn't it?
That's trolling, yes. That's trolling. You are actually trolling. You are bullying that person online because the person did nothing wrong.
Okay.
He did nothing wrong. He did not offend you in any way. You just decided to wake up one morning and you come across one post that maybe the post is hurting you. You understand? The next thing, you start harassing that person. That's trolling. You are trolling that person.
Okay, so how, in what ways, or what are the emotional and psychological effects of cyberbullying on teenagers particularly?
Yeah, mental health always goes first. You understand? Because whatever we do in life, it affects us up there.
Okay.
You get? So mental health is something that the kid will keep on thinking. Imagine your phone keep on popping and someone is bullying you online. You keep on seeing that notification you get of someone saying stuff about you, harassing you online. Makes you lose concentration. You get? If it's something now that is not common, that everybody knows about, you might want to stay indoor. That affects your social, the way you socialize with others.
Your social life.
Your social life, you understand? You might not want to go to school again. You don't expect that kid who is thinking of his social media life to be able to pass his exam. So it affects the mental health a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's also look at how this affects the academic performance of young people. It's no news that a lot of young people are very active on social media.
Yeah.
Okay. You just made mention of how it affects them academically.
Yeah.
In what practical ways does it, distract them from, focusing on their academics?
Normally in social media, when we say social media and our teenagers now, social media affects our teenagers a lot academically because the time that they are supposed to be in their books, time they are supposed to be with their books,
using it to surf the net,
using to surf the net, they are on each social media platform, doing one or two things online, keeping themselves busy.
Okay.
You understand? If you are reading your books, if you are with your books, nobody will come and bully you at home with your book. You get?
So social media in itself is a distraction.
It's a distraction. You get? Now, social media now, there's already a distraction. You are on it, and someone is bullying you on that social media. You want to fight back. You get? You have upcoming exams, and someone is bullying you. All your mind won't be focused on that exam. Will be focused on how to revenge to that person, how to talk back. What the next word? Okay, you are thinking now. What's going to be his next word now? What is he going to say next now? How will I reply him? How will I say something that's going to hurt him, that's going to turn the tables around?
So you're already emotionally and psychologically invested in it.
Invested in that already. That's it. I think I have there's a friend of mine who's actually an upcoming artist, and when he got signed by a record label, the record label is not actually big like that also. It's just an upcoming record label. And I think someone just came online one morning and started saying the record label is this, is that, for signing that's my colleague. You get? Like that, instead of the record label, that money,
they made the wrong choice.
They made the wrong choice. The money that they are going to invest on that guy, they are supposed to use the money to do other things that is going to benefit them. Now,
imagine the psychological effect that will have on the guy.
Yes, not even on the guy. The guy might, okay, am I want to, okay, let me be here. At least it's something that's going to push me further to do more. Now, this is someone that is already having his fans. His fans are already growing. Now, imagine, let's say, 2 of his fans now, they have upcoming exams, and they'll decide to come online and start replying the person that wake up in the morning just to troll the artist. You understand? So you see where it affects both mentally, academically, and socially.
All right, let's see how, you know, the role that peer pressure has to play in all of this. Does the peer pressure have anything to do with this?
Yeah, peer pressure has a lot to do with it. Most times, the bullying, the cyberbullying, in some cases, they are from our friends. Let me say, friends that we have personal vendettas with in real life that can't stand up to us, you understand? They'll go to the social media space, create unknown profile, or go anonymous and start. For instance, now, if a possibility of that friend knowing some of your dark secrets, your secrets that
use them against you,
it might use them against you, and you will not be like, what I did in secret is now on social media. Do you understand? So peer pressure, friendship is also a part of it.
Okay, do you think schools or school authorities should punish, you know, students who indulge in cyberbullying?
Yes. Because now the social media now, the cyberbullying is not what you say what happened in room should remain in room. No, it's not going to be like that, because your phone is with you. You keep on seeing notification. You are always online wherever you are going. Now you are in class now. Schools that let kids take their phone to school. You get, you are in class now and the teacher is teaching, a notification pop up. It's someone harassing you. You are distracted from the teacher. Now, if the school notices such, they should take drastic action in protecting the welfare of the affected, of the victim.
So what measures do you think the school authority could possibly take to, you know, curb it, to nip it in the bud?
If the bully is someone that they can track down, they should track the bully down.
Okay.
Caution the person involved in such acts. If it's someone that they can't track down, they can support the child or the victim emotionally, counseling. They get, watch his movements, make sure, because this bullying of a thing now, some people can take it extremely and decide it leads them to depression. that their arts, people that their arts are not strong.
Okay.
Their body isn't strong to such plays. Let me say it's a play. Okay. Such play, you understand? They will take it extremely overthinkers or overthink this stuff when they are alone. They might not, you might not see it when they are in the group. You understand? When they are with their friends, but when they are alone, they are overthinking this thing and it's affecting them deep down. So the school can help them emotionally.
All right. It has also been discovered that some victims of cyberbullying do not speak up. Why is that? Why do they find it hard to report, such cases to the appropriate authorities?
One of their major fear is fear of not being understood.
Okay.
You understand?
Fear of not being understood.
Not being understood. Yeah.
Okay.
They might report to someone older than them, and the person might not really understand what is happening, so it won't take the case serious. In other cases now, the parents will want to take the phone away from them. Say, the parents will think that that is the best move to make. That since someone is bullying you online, the best move to make is you not being online. At least if the person is not seeing you online, is not going to bully you anymore. You get, so that fear now of making them, taking their phones away from them, making them going back to the analog age is part of the reasons why they don't speak up. They prefer to keep everything in silence and bear the pain, and for them to speak up, and they are not digital anymore.
Okay, how can bystanders or people who witness cyberbullying help in putting an end to it?
Instead of them being bystanders, I think they should become upstanders.
How?
They should stand up to issues like this. You can report the accounts of the bully. You can report the account of the bully. You can report to the social media security team.
Okay.
And say an account is doing such and such, which is violating your community standard, your rules and regulation. So do your best to do something about it. Little thing can help. Also, you can also DM the victim and also let the victim know that you're seeing what is going on and you are not in support of it. See how you are going to help. See how you're going to help. Anyhow, as much as possible, try to help the victim.
Okay, are there signs that one can look out for, for someone who might be undergoing cyberbullying? Are there any ways to identify somebody who might be a victim of cyberbullying?
Yeah. When the person, you notice a teen now who is cheerful, playful, always with people, and the next thing you see is always alone, is a sign.
Suddenly withdrawn,
or suddenly someone that is usually online, always with the phones, then the next thing you notice that all accounts has been deleted, is also another sign. Try to check and see what is going on with that kid.
Okay, what roles do you think parents and guardians can play to mitigate against cyberbullying?
You just have to communication is better. Try to communicate with your
children and words.
With children and words. Try to communicate with them more often. You understand? Let them speak. In some cases now, the parents don't want to feel like they are the best. You get? They'll keep on advising, but they don't want to hear from the child. In this case, hear from the child. Hear what is really going on with that child. You get? The teachers, the parents, instead of taking the phones from that child, let the child know that I'm going to support you. I'm going to help you to overcome this phase that you are in now, because it's definitely a phase that most people must pass through.
Okay.
You understand? Mostly as kids, because I was once a victim of cyberbullying. You get? So it's definitely a phase. So let them know that you are there to support them, to help them to overcome that phase. Don't just stigmatize them. Try to understand them.
Okay.
You get?
All right, thank you so much. There's a certain act that a lot of social media users are guilty of, and they are probably not even aware that they are guilty of it, right? There is a post that is cyberbullying someone,
Okay.
Right? It's clearly, you know, a should I say, a troll post aimed at somebody else. And then some of us see some of these posts and just share them or repost them.
Yeah.
Could that be considered an act of cyberbullying as well?
Yes, you're also a victim of it. You're also a victim of it.
A victim or a perpetrator?
A victim. A perpetrator, sorry.
Okay.
A perpetrator of cyberbullying. Let's use this scenario now. A single person threw a stone to someone. You can call that an assault. You get? But when a group of people each threw stones to that one single person, it's called stoning.
Okay.
You get? So now everybody, they are all involved. You get? They are all perpetrators of that act. So you resharing, you reposting that post, you are spreading the news. You get? You are a perpetrator of it, and definitely you yourself should also be punished. So better still, stay away from it. Desist from such acts.
Okay. Can cyberbullying be taken from, you know, the internet to the physical?
Yes.
Is it possible for it to transcend the internet and become a physical affair?
Yes. Imagine, like we said now, most of these people doing cyberbullying, that are involved in this cyberbullying, they don't have the mind to challenge that person that they are bullying in physical. For instance, somebody bullies me now, and I meet the person in physical, and I discover that this person that has bullying me online is someone that I can deal with.
Okay.
And the damage he has made online is already much already. I want to react.
Okay.
Now we are already abusing ourselves in physical. Are you not bullying me online? All those you understand all those kind of stuff.
Confront the person.
Confront the person. Before you know, in my little fight, before you know, damages and.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Walters, for your very, very interesting insight. What would be your final word to victims of cyberbullying out there in less than 30 seconds?
One of my final words is that it's not everybody you see you want to challenge online. You understand? You see, a pig, if you are playing with a pig is a dirty animal.
Yes.
If you are playing with a pig, you also need to be dirty. You also get dirty.
Okay.
And the pig loves seeing you dirty.
Okay.
You understand? So seeing you dirty now is fun.
To the pig.
To the pig.
But you might not find it funny.
You might not find it fun enough. But to the pig is fun. So it's not everybody you challenge online. You see some people, you can block instantly. Or you just keep silent. Let him, they say silence is the best answer, give it to a fool.
Okay.
You understand? So once you keep it silent, he keeps talking and talking and talking, and he sees you are not, nobody is replying him. Him himself will know that, okay, I need to chill on this. You get?
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Walters. Well, I think that's my own parting words to everyone out there. Be mindful of who you cyberbully.
Yeah.
You know, some persons will not let it end there. Some persons will track you down.
Take to the physical.
Trust me, it's and you won't find it funny at all. Okay. I know a lot of persons, you know, hide behind their keyboards to perpetrate all sorts of, you know, vices on social media. But just have it in mind that, just like Emmanuel Walters said, not everyone should be messed with. All right. Desist from cyberbullying. If you have scores to settle with anyone, try to, you know, confront them one-on-one. It's better that way. In fact, it's even more courageous than you hiding behind your keypad just to, you know, bully them. Cyberbullying is totally wrong. Say no to cyberbullying. Well, it's been the Guys Hangout Show on Independent Television. A big thank you to Emmanuel Walter once again, and of course to you out there for taking out time to be with us on the show. My name is Harry Aigbo J, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and have yourself a blissful night rest. Bye for now.
ITV, certainly the best.
Benin Cultural Dance a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as nits are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
ITV, certainly the best.
The land of Owan is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Owan traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Owan was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwan. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
ITV, certainly the best.
viewers, welcome to Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji. A lot is currently happening in Nigeria, especially in the area of insecurity. So we're going to be looking at the life sentence that was actually given to the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, and the possible socio-political implications that it's going to be having in the country. I am Caroline Okonji on Viewpoint. So let's go talk to some of our resource persons and residents of Edo State to hear what their reactions going to be about this particular topic. I am Caroline once again on Viewpoint.
I'm not surprised that I was given a life sentence. In fact, I would say that it's even lucky. Because at a point during the trial, he disposed of his team of lawyers. He said he wanted to defend himself. You are not a lawyer, you are standing trial, a trial that the punishment is either life imprisonment or death. So I would say that it's even lucky. At the end of the day, the judge opted to give him life imprisonment in spite of all the provocations, insulting the judges, insulting the lawyers and all that. I think the punishment was even fair on him. You understand? That's the way I look at it. Then if we are talking about the political implication, of course, one would have expected that the president, being that they've actually, at times, they try to talk peace with Boko Haram terrorists, they try to make peace with bandits that are busy ravaging the northern part of the country. One would have expected that he should have also been given an olive leaf to ensure that there will be peace in the east. Because whether you like it or not, he has thousands or millions of sympathizers that are in the east, especially in the east. Even around the world, you also have some people that are actually very sympathetic to whatever is agitating for, whether rightly or wrongly. So I would have expected the president to leverage on that issue by granting him that amnesty, just like the way they did to Igboho and Co. Because of course, at a point, those ones were also agitating in the western part of the country. He was able to give them, he was able to settle with them, just as we also had with men in the southern side of the Sassas of the country. We also, Yaradua then, when he was alive, was able to grant them amnesty to ensure that there was peace there. Nobody was disturbing the pipelines and everything was going very fine. So I would have expected that this administration would have tried to leverage on that in order to create that enough peace in the east. Because as we are still talking, the sit-at-home order that they are giving is still very relevant, is still being enforced in some states in the east, like especially in Owerri, Imo State. They still observe it. In some other states, they also observe it. So people, even when you want to travel to the east now, you become very apprehensive because you know that you don't know what will happen because of that sit-at-home order and all that. So I felt that the federal government should have leveraged on that. But for him to have said he wanted to defend himself, we as lawyers, immediately made that decision, we knew that there was nothing that was going to save him. Because no matter how you feel that you know the law, you cannot know the law like a lawyer. The lawyers would have been able to look at his the case that was presented by the prosecution and be able to raise a very good, robust defense, raise enough maybe probably discrepancies and loopholes in the prosecution's defense that would have warranted him being maybe being discharged and acquitted of this offense. But he opted to say he wanted to defend himself, that he never needed lawyers again, and this is where we are. Since the trial started, even when he has been convicted now, we have actually not seen an upsurge in the security situation in the east. So it seems as if people have also accepted that he has been convicted and nobody's saying anything. For now, I don't know. It's possible they might have plans to say they want to come out to the street, or to have plans to start demonstrating or maybe attacking government and government institutions and all that. Nobody knows. But for the now, it has actually not affected anything. It has not increased the insecurity in those regions more than where it was before. It has not at all.
I want to say that the sentence given to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu
the judgment itself and the sentence that followed from the judgment, they were very fair to him, very fair. Ordinarily, the law provides for a death sentence for such an offense. So, but the judge, in his wisdom, decided to give him life imprisonment, which is still a subject of controversy in the legal sphere. Now, the question should be: did the judgment flow from the facts, evidence before court? And the answer that will follow is yes. When a prosecution closes its case, they've learned evidence as to how they allude or claim that a person committed an offense. It is the duty of that person to allow himself, by way of calling witnesses, to debunk what the prosecutor has said. But what the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu, did was to choose, rather than defend himself, he chose to attack the court, was questioning the court at every point, challenging the court's authority over him. That's not how a trial proceeds, and the judge had no choice at that point but to bring his defense to an end, since obviously his action, he's saying that he doesn't have a defense. So the court in his wisdom brought his defense to an end and went ahead to move the matter straight for judgment, since there was really nothing to defend anymore. And when he was also asked to make a written address, rather than make written address, he brought a motion upon which he attached an address. It is that address the court now took as his final address in the matter. So the judgment itself, to me, is sound. Now, coming to the circumstances of security challenge in this country, whether that judgment will aggravate security challenge in this country, I will tell you, security situation in this country is already bad. So we should not, with this our fear of, if I take this step, security challenge will increase. If I take that step, security challenge, that is what has aggravated the security situation in this country. Each step we take, we are looking at, one person, every person, somebody must be offended. That's the truth. As a leader, you are not there to go and serve ice cream. Your job is to go there and deliver justice, no matter whose horse is God. If it is the Igbo man today, give justice to and against him where it's not necessary. If it's an Hausa man, do the same. If it's a Yoruba man, do the same. That is the only issue. The problem people are having is that while you are imprisoning and sentencing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you are begging and placarding the Fulanis that are and other tribes that are presently causing mayhem in this country, because we have seen them. Because people they try to say, the filmmaker that made the movie The Head wanted to just bring bad name to the Fulanis. But we see every day on social media, the Fulanis, the headsmen, they celebrate their actions. And when you see the ones celebrating their actions in the bush, they are Fulanis. They will show you their captives in the bush. So if all the media space is filled up, TikTok is filled up with Fulani headsmen that are keeping people in captivity in the name of they are now in charge of security of this country. They are showing off how much they have decimated the security situation in this country. Then you say we should not talk about their tribe. We should talk about their tribe. Every tribe has bad egg, and it should be dealt with as such. You should not look at the tribe's name. Now you talk about how the Igbos will react. The truth is, the Igbo man has suffered a lot in this country. I will not mince words in saying it. The Igbo man has suffered a lot. I was in Jos Plateau State in 2008 when the Jos crisis was at its peak. Igbo man suffered a lot. You know the painful part? When you will now go to the police station and the court, when you expect to see a large number of persons that were arrested, you will see them today that over 300 persons are in custody. Come next week, nobody is there. No trial takes place. It's as if we treat this security situation as if it's just two fighting. Two people fought yesterday. We just say, don't do it again. We pat them at the back and go home. People die. Somebody has died. It's not a case of two people fought. It's now a serious offense that must be dealt with all the importance attached to it. In America, one person went and killed somebody in front of the White House there. Killed somebody there. If you see the way the government took it, it's as if they took it as if it is the whole war, as if it was a war. They gave it all the seriousness required. But here, when somebody is killed here, we treat it as if it's foul that was killed. When two people, the government will just treat it as if take for example the way they dealt with this Akure, is it Kwara State church kidnapping, where people with people with firearms, brandishing firearms, come into a church and started committing havoc, wrecking havoc, shooting at people. Then they took some away. Then the next day, the government came out proudly, with a shame, to say they are happy to announce that they have rescued these people. The one after rescuing, what did you now do to those who came to commit the offense?
In my opinion, it's very, very unfortunate that the Nigerian society has degenerated to this extent that we find ourselves judicially and politically. The silence of good people in the face of oppression and cruelty is an injustice to justice. I will not fail to lend my voice against the political conviction, because the offense or the crime committed by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not warrant life imprisonment, because though his actions cannot be in any way justifiable, but when there is an incitement of public, there is a provision for it. And when you talk about treason, there must be an evidence that the persons who is being charged for treason has in any way connived or collaborated or conspired with other persons in quest to usurp the powers of the state. But in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, he only made verbal statements. There was no evidence that he bear arms. There was no evidence that he waged war against the Nigerian state, and there was no evidence that he killed anybody. So why should he be sentenced to life imprisonment when we have seen recently that the so-called repentant Boko Haram who have killed, who have raped, who have kidnapped, who have waged war, who have committed genocide, we are being forgiven, so to say, by the Nigerian state and be infused into the Nigerian military formation. That's to say, they will grant a presidential pardon. These are the persons who have openly killed, who have steal, and who have destroyed. We have equally seen another terrorist who were arrested, charged to court, and was given just 20 years imprisonment. Meanwhile, in the case of Kanu, someone who have never been seen bearing arms, who have never seen killing someone, who have never seen destroy anything, was sentenced to life imprisonment. I have this to say. This is a political convention, not a lawful or a judicial convention. If it were to be in accordance with the law, he would have been given 5, 6, 10 years, as the case may be, imprisonment, not to be sentenced to life imprisonment. Does his offense warrant life imprisonment? In its entirety, it doesn't warrant life imprisonment. Like I have said, I condemn his actions for inciting violence, but that offense does not warrant life imprisonment. So the Nigerian actors, the political actors, should look into this conviction and the processes so that it doesn't lead to or compound the socio-political unrest in the eastern part of the country and other part of the nation. So the Nigerian state should be very careful, because we have series of insecurity that the state is trying to deal with. They shouldn't compound the problem. I think what the federal government is trying to do, everything happening about Nnamdi Kanu is purely political. It is not in accordance with the law. Yes, the Nigerian government have the right to transfer him to any correctional service, maybe for the purpose of his safety, because they are also fearful that the Biafran agitation might also have plans or motive to get into the prison and rescue him out of prison. Perhaps that would be the government fear. Again, I am not also comfortable that transferring to the northern part of the country is also safe or politically wise enough, being for the fact that the northern part of the country and the eastern part of the country have been at loggerhead. We remember vividly respecting to what happened during the Civil War. So we don't want a situation whereby even the bandits or those in the north that doesn't have the good interest of the east will also get at him in the prison, because if he dies in the prison unjustly, that will amount to series of insecurity if it will not warrant another civil war in this country.
Treason or levying war against the state could likely take death or life imprisonment. If you see what the consequences of the actions of indigenous people of Biafra has taken a toll on the southeast, some people have died. They are trying to secede. It's a very serious decision for a part of a country to want to secede. We saw what happened in the United Kingdom when the Republic of Ireland wanted to secede. The United Kingdom fought tooth and nail to ensure that they stop it, although eventually part of Ireland seceded. No country takes it lightly. And so, taking into cognizance the socio-economic, socio-political dynamics of his sentence, it will dampen the morale of every Southeasterner, because generally people are saying that it seems that the Southeast is caged. But I think if Nnamdi Kanu and his group are going to pipe low, then a political situation can be found so that peace can be restored to the Southeast. There's a political aspect to it. The thing is that, is Nnamdi Kanu ready to back down from his agitation? Like I said, no nation takes it lightly when you want to break up the nation. Because if you look at all our constitutional conference, one aspect that has always been non-negotiable is the territorial integrity and the unity of this country. You don't negotiate it. And so we have fought a war before, and nobody wants a war. Even the Nnamdi Kanu that he's talking about, was he part of those who fought that war? Most of the people who are talking about the levying war against the state were not part of the war fought in the 60s. And I think that the East should reconsider warming up to the Federation, and other regions stretch their hands across the Niger and shake the Southeasterners and restore them back into the nation as friends, brothers, and co-partners in the building of Nigeria.
Though, if we really want to follow the laws of the land, what the federal government has done was done in the right direction. But we can also say that sometimes the father used to beat the child is the also same hand to bring that child back to the body. What Nnamdi Kanu did, truly we can say it's wrong, because you cannot shout war in a country and don't also expect the consequence. People like related Abiola also suffer same fate when they declare themselves as president, because we are in a sovereign nation, we are in a nation where laws abide. So I think what the federal government did was done in the right direction. But can we say, is it not going to also affect politically? Definitely yes, you can't say no about that. The reason is because Nnamdi Kanu is a voice as we speak. After the demise of Odumegwu Ojukwu, Nnamdi Kanu became the voice that the Igbo people believe in. 60% of them believe in the cause of Nnamdi Kanu. So it's also going to disturb the political calculation from that angle. And taking him to the area where, to me, it's not also safe for the very just now, was also something done in the bad faith. But what I would excuse is that if they put him in Kuje prison, it's going to be a sort of mecca where people come to visit him. That goes to tell you the type of person that has been arrested. For you to know that if you keep him here, that place is going to be a beehive of activities. It goes to show that person. So I think we will also come to the table of the president to beg, to have leniency, to beg, to say what he has done before can be seen, can be forgiven. Because we are in a country where people slaughter, people kidnap, people kill people,
show their guns, and nothing is done to those people. The same government that has given out the Kalu this fate will also say those people, we see those people and also negotiate with them, giving them mouth-watering excuses to make sure that what was done to these other people is done in bad faith. So to me, we must be transparent to ourselves. Nigeria does not live in a better tripod. We live in a place where some people carry AK-47s and they are negotiated with, and somebody else is seen with a knockout or a pistol, and the person is charged for illegal possession of firearms. So it's a country where the laws are for some people and the law is for some people. So to me, the federal government should see how best Nnamdi Kanu issue should be nipped on the bud, not to cause another worse-off crisis in that eastern region.
First and foremost, commend the judge for taking such a stand in such a very, very sensitive case. We all knew that the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have lingered for this long. I think he was first arrested in 2015, and on and on and on, and the judgment came just a week or so ago. Be that as it may, I think I wouldn't want to belabor myself with the issue of cessationist agitation for states their own right of self-determination, which of course is a rule of customary international law, and it is also enshrined in the International Covenant for Civil and Political Rights of 1966. I think Article 1, Sub 3, that they have a right of self-determination, but there are laid down rules and procedure for that. I think the major charge against him was that related to terrorism on a 7-count charge, and we are looking at the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2022. Somehow, there are laid down penalties for the offense of terrorism, which of course, I would say the judge was fair enough to follow such provisions of that law. Even though Nnamdi Kanu was not actually charged under that Terrorism Act of 2022. But however, that would be another case for the appellate court to look into. Then, looking at the socio-political aspect, for now, it seems to be calm. But I am sure that by the time they go on appeal and the case begins to go otherwise, there's going to be a kind of uprising, especially in the southeastern part of Nigeria. And that may not augur well so much for the security aspect of our nation, especially now that we are grappling with the issue of Nigeria being a country of a particular concern by stating from the American president point of view. Of course, I will say here and now that there are so many windows still open for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and for peace to also reign in the southeast. For example, I think there's a rumor making around that leaders, political thoughts, leaders from the southeastern part are trying to lobby the presidency if it can be granted pardon. I think if anybody is trying to question the position of the judge, why will he take such a stern position of life imprisonment? I will say that according to a very good jurisprudential school of thought, it said law can be defined as what the court says it is. So I believe the judge also follow that line of wanting to look at the law of terrorism and see that Nnamdi Kanu is given just what he deserves. I want to say here, as one who is abreast with the law to some extent by the grace of God, from the day he decided to defend himself, that he doesn't need the services of his lawyers, I think that was a very great error on his part, because the lawyers, they have the law at their breast, and they have a way of also using persuasive arguments to sway the courts. And I hope that he will learn from this, so that during appeal, he will allow his lawyer to take over the case. I think with this little, I can say, I hope that it will not escalate to a kind of uprising as regard to the issue of security, especially in the eastern part of Nigeria.
Having heard all that has been said from our respondents about the judgment that was actually given to the IPOB leader, some are of the opinion that it was a well-deserved judgment, while some are saying that the judgment should have been treated with human face and that he deserved to be pardoned. It's Viewpoints on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji, and bye for now.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.